Tonight we begin with a scene that's turning heads across the country. The United States Navy, sailors in deep blue uniforms, are not at sea, but on the dusty US-Mexico border. Their presence is striking and unexpected. Navy personnel, far from any coastline, are working alongside Border Patrol agents. They're setting up communications, providing logistical support, and making their presence known. This isn't a handful of specialists. It's a visible, deliberate deployment. For border communities, it's another twist in an already complex reality. The Navy's arrival is the talk of local diners and community meetings. Residents are left wondering, why the Navy? Why now? The National Guard has been here before, but the Navy's mission is tied to the sea. Sending them to the border signals a shift in federal strategy. It suggests Washington sees a problem that needs an unconventional solution. Tonight, we dig for the real story behind this unprecedented move. For families living here, the Navy's presence is more than a headline. It's a new layer in daily life. The central question, what's driving this decision? The border has seen military before, but never like this. The Navy's deployment demands explanation. Is this a temporary fix or the start of something bigger? We're here to find out. The story is unfolding and we're asking the questions that matter. Stay with us as we search for answers. To grasp why this is so unusual, consider the Navy's core mission. The Navy is built for the world's oceans: aircraft carriers, submarines, destroyers. Their expertise is in maritime warfare, not desert operations. Sailors are trained in naval gunnery, sonar, radar, and damage control at sea. These are skills for survival and victory on water, not on land. So how do these skills fit the border's arid landscape? The disconnect is obvious and puzzling. The Navy does have Seabees, medics, and intelligence specialists. Some of these roles could help on land, but the Navy is a sea-focused force. Using them here is like asking a world-class surgeon to apply a bandage. It raises questions about efficiency and cost. Is this the best use of their talent and taxpayer money? When sailors are stationed in the desert, it's a fundamental departure from their mission. They're not repelling enemy fleets or securing shipping lanes. They're operating far outside their element. This isn't just a change of scenery, it's a change in purpose. The Navy's deployment is a central anomaly. Why pull them from global duties for a domestic mission? The answer isn't clear, and that's what we need to explore. The stakes are high and the questions are urgent. So, why is the Navy here? Let's break down the possibilities. Security is the first explanation. Maybe the border faces a new threat that needs the Navy's tech or logistics. Advanced surveillance communications or data analysis could be part of the mission. Or perhaps customs and border protection is stretched thin and the Navy is simply providing backup. In this scenario, they're not patrolling, they're supporting. Then there's the political angle. Deploying the Navy sends a powerful message: the administration is serious about border security. It's a dramatic move designed to grab headlines and reassure the public. It could also be a signal to other countries. But is it more about optics than necessity? There's also the possibility of a classified reason, something the public isn't being told. Maybe it's a test for using different military branches in domestic roles. Or perhaps there's a specific threat with a maritime connection. Without transparency, speculation grows. The official line rarely tells the whole story. The real reason may be hidden behind politics or secrecy. Until we get answers, the deployment remains a mystery. We need clarity, not just statements. The search for the truth continues. The US military has been sent to the border before. But the Navy's presence is a first. Historically, it's been the National Guard or Army, not sailors. In the 1990s, Joint Task Force 6 used military personnel for counter-drug support, but not law enforcement. More recently, both Obama and Trump sent the National Guard for surveillance and logistics. These were ground forces trained for land operations. The legal framework matters. The Posse Comitatus Act keeps the military out of domestic policing. Past deployments have always been in a support role, not direct action. Troops assist federal agents, they don't make arrests. The Navy's deployment is similar in support, but different in character. It breaks the pattern of using ground troops. Why the change? Has the nature of the support needed shifted, or is this a symbolic move? The Navy's presence raises new questions about strategy and intent. History provides context, but this is a new chapter. The rules are the same, but the players have changed. The border has always been a testing ground for federal policy. Now it's a stage for the Navy. The implications go beyond logistics. They touch on law, precedent, and public trust. This deployment is both a continuation and a break from the past. We're watching to see what comes next. When something this unusual happens, all eyes turn to Washington and Mexico City. The Pentagon calls the Navy's role unique logistical and technological support. They stress sailors won't be involved in law enforcement. The official explanation is technical, but leaves many questions unanswered. The White House frames it as using all available federal resources to secure the border. The message is strength and resolve, but specifics are scarce. It's a political statement as much as a policy one. Across the border, Mexico's response is measured. The government acknowledges the deployment but insists U.S. troops stay on their side. They're seeking clarity on the Navy's mission and its duration. Publicly, the tone is diplomatic. Privately, there's concern. Officials on both sides are in constant communication. Mexico wants to know if this changes the dynamic in the region. The relationship is being tested by this new development. Official statements only scratch the surface. Behind closed doors, the questions are sharper. How long will the Navy stay? What exactly are they doing? The answers will shape cross-border relations for months to come. For now, uncertainty reigns. The story is still unfolding on both sides of the border. Beyond politics, this story is about people living on the border. We spoke to residents from Texas to California. Reactions are mixed. Some, like Maria, a rancher near Del Rio, welcome the Navy's help. She feels safer and says any support for Border Patrol is good news. For her, the uniform doesn't matter, action does. Others see it as militarization. A business owner in Nogales worries it sends the wrong message. This isn't a war zone, it's a community. He fears it will hurt tourism and create fear. Human rights advocates are concerned too. A San Diego aid worker says military presence can intimidate migrants seeking asylum. These are vulnerable families. Meeting the military is terrifying. Experts call the Navy's deployment unprecedented and perplexing. Border communities are used to a federal presence, but not the Navy. Some see it as political theater, not practical strategy. Skepticism is widespread. Residents and experts alike want a better explanation. The impact is real, and the questions are urgent. The border is watching and waiting for answers. The Navy's deployment has ignited fierce debate. Critics call it mission creep military doing what civilians should. They warn it blurs the line between military and domestic affairs. There's concern about cost. Is this the best use of Navy resources? Some say the money could fund more Border Patrol agents or immigration judges. Supporters argue the border is in crisis and needs all available help. For them, using the Navy is creative problem solving. They trust the military to get things done. Many see the deployment as overdue action. The debate isn't just about logistics, it's about what the border should be. It reflects deep national divisions. Is this a bold solution or a dangerous precedent? Both sides see the stakes as high. The controversy is about more than policy, it's about identity and trust. The nation is watching and the arguments are far from settled. To understand this story, zoom out to America in 2025. The country is deeply polarized and the border is a symbol of that divide. Every action there is magnified by partisan lenses. Deploying the Navy fits this environment perfectly. One side sees decisive action, the other sees dangerous theater. There's little middle ground. This move reflects a trend turning to the military for civilian problems. We saw it during the pandemic, after disasters, now, at the border. The military is trusted, but relying on it raises tough questions. It risks normalizing military roles in civilian life. It also highlights failures of civilian institutions. The Navy's presence is a symptom of a deeper issue, the lack of consensus on immigration. Congress hasn't passed reform in decades. Successive administrations use executive actions and stopgaps. The Navy's deployment is the latest and most dramatic of these measures. It's a sign of a country still searching for answers. So what do we know for sure? The Navy is at the border, providing logistical and technological support, not law enforcement. This is a break from past practice, and reactions are sharply divided. Supporters see strength, critics see militarization and waste. Mexico is watching closely, seeking clarity. For border communities, this is a new reality with real consequences. But much remains unknown. Why the Navy, specifically? The official explanation is vague. Is there a hidden threat, or is this political theater? How long will the deployment last? What will its legacy be? Effective security, or costly gesture? The story is still unfolding. We'll keep pressing for answers and keep them honest.